Hello, in this video I'm going to share with you 5 online marketing tips that can absolutely transform your business. And you know what, I'll even share with you a bonus tip, so make sure you stay watching right to the very end. My name is Piers O'Neill and I'm the founder of Simply Digital Media. Now, I've been in business myself for over 15 years, and during that time I've often struggled with online marketing. The tips I'm about to share with you in this video today have not only transformed my business, but more importantly, they've transformed the businesses that I work with. So without further ado, let's jump straight in and take a look at these 5 tips. Tip number 1 is make sure your website is mobile friendly. What does this mean? Well, in simplest terms, this just means that your website dynamically reshapes and resizes itself to fit the device it is being viewed upon. Why is this important? Well, it's important for 2 reasons. Firstly, Google now ranks websites based on what it sees of their mobile site and their mobile site only. And secondly, and probably more importantly for me, it's all about user experience. You see, if you've gone to the trouble of having a website and you've gone to the effort to get traffic to visit your website, the last thing you want is somebody to rock up on their mobile device only to find themselves looking at your desktop site on a tiny little screen. They're not going to find what they want quickly or easily. What are they going to do? They're going to leave. So that's my first tip. Make sure your website is mobile friendly. Tip number 2. If I was to ask you what is the biggest search engine, the chances are you are screaming down the screen at me now, it's Google, Piers, it's Google, and of course you'd be absolutely right. But what if I was to ask you what's the second biggest search engine? You may not be quite so sure, and you may be a little bit shocked and surprised to find out that it's YouTube. Yes, YouTube. So what does that tell us as business owners? Well, it tells us that web users in general, and our customers in particular, are looking increasingly to video to get the answers to their questions and the solutions to their problems. Now, as business owners, we should be actively embracing video and using it wherever and whenever we possibly can. Now, I can hear you screaming at me now, oh, I could never be on video, Piers, and I could never afford it even if I did want to be on it. Well, here's the thing. Firstly, it's not all about you. You don't have to be on it. It's good if you are, but it's not important. And secondly, it doesn't have to be expensive. There are businesses just like mine that specialise in producing video content for web delivery at a fraction of the cost that you would pay a traditional production company. And if you're on a really tight budget and you've got a smartphone, pair that up with a little bit of creativity and shoot your own videos. It's that easy to do. So my second tip is embrace and use video wherever and whenever you possibly can. Tip number 3 is to get social. Now, love it or hate it, social media is here to stay. And as business owners, we should absolutely be leveraging these free to use platforms wherever and whenever we can. But there are 2 things we need to know about using these platforms. Number 1 is make sure that you are hanging out on the platforms which are most appropriate to your business. The second tip is to make sure that you are posting content regularly and that the content you post adds value to your potential customers. It tells them things they want to know. It explains things that they didn't understand. By posting this sort of content, what you're doing is making yourself an expert in your field and giving yourself a bit of authority towards the people who are potentially going to be your customers. So next time they need your product or service, they are more inclined to think directly of you because of the exposure they've had to you on social media. So tip number 3, use social media to your advantage, post regularly and post really good, strong content. Tip number 4. Well, my 4th tip is a little bit controversial, so I'm just going to come straight out and say it. Don't waste your money on SEO, or search engine optimization. Now, gasps all around. I need to point out right now that I'm not referring to the basic search engine optimization that goes into any good website. That is critical that you get that right, get all your tags, keywords, etc. that is still important, that has got to be 100% bob on and should be in every website. No, what I'm talking about are these emails. The emails that you constantly get offering to get you on page 1 of Google for $99 a month, da-di-da-di-da. These things invariably never work. If they do and they improve your rankings, they often do so using techniques which are banned by Google. And worst case scenario, they can get your website even kicked off Google. So do not waste your money on these types of services. They are really not worth it. Now, I ought to point out here that there are some businesses which do legitimately offer search engine optimization, but they cost you an awful lot more than $99 a month. They are thousands of pounds a month. So what I'm saying to you is, don't waste your money there, but instead save it for my tip number 5, which is coming now. Tip number 5. Using the money I've just saved you in tip number 4, i.e. not wasting your time with SEO, use it instead for paid advertising online. Now, there are 2 different types of paid advertising online. There's a type you do on social media, and then there's a type you do with the likes of Google in terms of AdWords. Now, there's a distinct difference between both of these types of marketing. Where you're using social media, you're placing your adverts in front of people who may not necessarily be looking for your product or service. This is called interruption marketing. The second type of advertising is that which you do on the likes of Google, whereby you target specific keywords and people are only showed your advert when they are searching your specific keywords. Now, these audiences are far more warmed up and they are far more likely to buy from you because they are actively searching for your product or service. Now, I've had success with both of these platforms and I would encourage you to try them both out. The one tip I would give you there is make sure that you always measure your return on investment. So tip number 5, make sure you're using sponsored content. And I did actually promise you a bonus tip, didn't I? So here we go. Now, there is an age-old concept of direct response marketing. Now, I don't intend to go into the whole realms and details of how it's done, other than just to give you a top-line understanding of how it works. In essence, you start off by giving something away, something that is of value, but in return for giving them this free product, you ask them for their email address or address. And quite simply, you use that in order to build a relationship with them over the coming months by educating them on your area of expertise. And over that time, they start to see you as an authority figure. Now, the key thing here is during this first 3, 4, 5 months, you should never be trying to sell to them. Never. You should just be building a relationship. However, after that time has elapsed, then you can start softly selling particular products or services within your field to them. And you will find that they are a very, very warmed up audience and that they are very likely to buy from you. So that is my bonus tip. Take a look into direct response marketing. Now, of course, it goes without saying that my business, me personally, can help you with any of the tips that I've talked about in this video today, and I would love to do so. So just give me a shout and we'll have a free informal conversation about how my business can help your business. Now, before you disappear, I ought to say that if you're interested in what I've said today, below this video there is a link where you can download the content of this conversation that we've had today. If I can help you with anything at all, then please do let me know. So until next time, thanks for your attention today. It's been great talking to you, and I'll speak to you again soon.